Part 171. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 1701. Go to the Holy City of Light. I should go back, I still have to go back. Fang Fan grinned and chuckled indifferently. Back to the Holy City of Light. This, my lord, the Holy City of Light is being besieged by the army of the Dark Temple at this moment. If we go back now, isn't it a sheep in the mouth of a tiger? Master, think twice. Be sure to think twice. Hot Spring took a breath, and then said nervously, he felt that Fang Fan's idea and thinking were too bold, and if he was a little careless, it might be the result of the collapse of everything. Think twice. Hee, you don't need to think twice. Wealth and wealth are in danger. Going back to the Holy City of Light at this moment is a timely gift. When rewarding meritorious deeds in the future, do you think that you can lose your share? And if the Holy City of Light is really breached and the Temple of the Alliance of Light is really destroyed, how can our ending be better? Explain that Qingtian Sanctuary is occupied by the Temple of Darkness, we will definitely become a thorn in their flesh, and the ending will only be more miserable. Besides, you don't want to be the head of the Bronze Legion for the rest of your life, do you? Didn't you ever think about going up a level? Fang Fan smiled slightly, and while talking, his gaze towards the hot spring was full of smiles. Hot Spring was stunned for a moment, and then there was a look of infinite excitement on his face. The opportunity was right in front of him. Take it to the next level? Take another step up? Really, really? Hot Spring's lips trembled, his eyes flickered, and all kinds of thoughts were boiling in his mind, which made him completely unable to restrain himself. Who doesn't want a bright future? Master, can I really do it? I'm only a 4-star sanctuary, and I didn't have any dazzling battle honors before. Hot Spring swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and while speaking, his lips began to tremble involuntarily, and various thoughts were churning in his mind, which had already made him ecstatic. As long as you follow me, there will be Zhan Sun, let alone the realm. My plan is to promote you to the position of silver-ranked Legion Commander after this battle of gods is over. This will have a greater effect and help for me. Fang Fan nodded secretly, and said very sincerely, this is also the established plan he has always wanted to implement. Silver rank Legion Commander. Good on. The movement and sound of Hot Spring's swallowing of saliva became louder and louder. At this moment, he suddenly felt that his whole body was full of motivation, and this motivation was still increasing crazily at this moment. It was this feeling that made him inexplicably intoxicated. Thank you, Lord, for your promotion and gift. The Lord ordered that the hot springs must be carried out to the end. Don't dare to slack off in the slightest. Onsen got down on one knee and began to express his loyalty. Fang Fan nodded secretly, and didn't say much, but everything fell silent. The army continued to march towards the location of the Holy City of Light. A few days later, a message spread to the Holy City of Light. The branch of the Dark Temple in Demon Heart City has been destroyed. All the statues of the Dark Gods have been destroyed. The Dark Gods are furious. After a long journey for a period of time, this news has spread in all directions. In the central barracks of the Dark Camp, the branch hall of the Demon Heart City Temple was destroyed. Who did it? Who did it? No. Xiao Yui. Xiao Yui, get the hell out of here. In the central military camp, the Along Saint from the Dark Temple roared angrily. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 1702. If he remembers correctly, the Dark Knight Legion formed a battle group yesterday. And this battle group used to guard Demon Heart City. When he returned to the building, he was worried about the safety of the branch hall of the Demon Heart City Temple, But at that time, Sci-Fi, the head of the 707th chapter of the Dark Knight Legion, said that the Demon Heart City was safe and sound. Sci-Fi stood in front of the tent of the central military tent, his calf trembling intermittently. He knew exactly what was going on in the branch of the Dark Temple in Demon Heart City. If it comes to responsibility, it is not an exaggeration to say that he is the chief culprit. If he hadn't persuaded Mokashi, the deputy second-rank acting cardinal of the Dark Temple, to lead the army to evacuate from Demon Heart City, he wouldn't have been seized by the army of the Light Camp. Later, Mokashi returned with his troops, and he chose to leave as always, and came to the Holy City of Light. Now that he was suddenly summoned by the Along Saint, he thought about it with his feet and knew it had something to do with it. I have already issued a strict order to the 707th Battle Group, ordering them not to speak nonsense, so there shouldn't be any major problems. Here with Saint Along, don't show cowardice, I want to be steady. Phew, I have just been promoted to the 5-star sanctuary realm, and my bright future is still waiting for me. Please, don't let this ruin you. Sci-Fi, head of the 707th chapter of the Dark Knight Legion, thought in his heart, and the expression on his face became more and more serious. The matter has developed to the present, and it is already out of his control. He must be fully prepared. Holy One, Master Saint. Did you call the subordinate down for something? Sci-Fi bit the bullet and entered the central military tent, forcing himself not to be too nervous. Why did I call you here, don't you know in your heart? Sci-Fi. You are so brave. How dare you look forward to the saint? I asked you to guard Demon Heart City and protect the temple branch of Demon Heart City. How did you do it? Tell me. Saint Along from the Dark Temple roared, he really couldn't bear it now. There are idiots every year, especially this year. Ah, Lord Saint, what do you mean by that? Did something happen to the branch of the temple in Demon Heart City? When I left, everything was safe and sound, that's why Mokashi's acting cardinal, the Dark God Envoy, ordered me to come to the front line to help, so that we can conquer the Holy City of Light earlier. Others, I don't know at all. Lord Saint, you are clearly aware. My belief in the Dark Temple and the great Dark Gods has never wavered. While talking, Sci-Fi seemed more and more confident. It's this time now, stretching out the head is a knife, shrinking the head is still a knife. At the moment of life and death, you can only fight. Sci-Fi shifted all responsibility to Makaxe, making him the last one to take the blame. In fact, he was also a little flustered at the moment. At this moment, he was looking forward to the Lord Saint. Once Mokashi came here and confronted him, then he would really be finished. Mokashi? You said the idiot Mokashi gave you the order. The Along Saint of the Dark Temple frowned, then stepped forward and looked around Sci-Fi, looking very calm. Yes, it is such a saint. Every word spoken by this subordinate is true, this subordinate dare not hide anything from Lord Saint. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 1703. Sci-Fi knelt down on his knees directly, and while talking, he let out gasps one after another, his head touched the ground and made roaring sounds. At this moment, Sci-Fi can't control so much anymore, as long as he can let him to survive successfully, let alone kowtow, even if he stabbed himself a few times, he didn't care at all. Humph. Mokashi is as stupid as a pig. Don't you know how many caddies you have? How dare you send your battle group to the front line? According to the information sent back, Mokashi has been killed. The Bronze Legion of the two Ghost Legions he is in charge of is completely dead and wounded. This time our Dark Temple suffered heavy losses. Because the branch hall of the Demon Heart City Temple was destroyed, the supply of the power of faith of the Dark Gods has been greatly reduced, and the Dark Gods are already very dissatisfied. The great Dark Gods ordered us to rebuild the temple branch immediately. And we must teach the Temple of the Alliance of Light a lesson. Now only by taking down the Holy City of Light and destroying the Temple of the Light Alliance earlier can we make up for our mistakes. As the Along Saint of the Dark Temple spoke, the expression on his face became more and more dark and hateful. As he spoke at this moment, the gesture of gnashing his teeth was vividly displayed. Master Mokashi is dead. Xiao Yui, who was kowtowing his head, froze for a moment, and then let out an excited and anxious voice. As he spoke, the depths of his eyes flickered, and this feeling made him gradually go crazy. Dead without evidence. His testimony was impeccable. Can he get away with it? Now he can say whatever he wants. They're all dead anyway, so it doesn't matter if there are a few more crimes on the head of the dead. Mokashi, Master Mokashi is loyal to the temple and the Dark Gods. He ordered me to rush to the front line. I didn't do well, it's all my fault. Lord Mokashi, who would have known that the previous parting would be eternity? My Dark Temple has lost a hero. Why don't I die? Xiao Yui started the process of acting as a cat crying and a mouse pretending to be merciful. He had to do a full set of acting, and all aspects had to be extraordinarily real. On this point, Xiao Yui was very scheming. Okay. Stop talking nonsense. Although Mokashi had good intentions at the beginning, he did cause great damage to the temple. Humph. Originally, I wanted to kill you together as a warning to others, but since you were forced to accept the order, then this matter really has nothing to do with you. Go away. Attack me as the first echelon when we attack the city. Saint Along from the Dark Temple snorted coldly, his complexion began to turn black. The destruction of the branch hall of the temple, the nature is second only to the destruction of the main hall of the temple, even more serious than the destruction of a golden army. Check. Give me a thorough investigation. Which legion of the Light Camp did it? He must be crushed. Sage Along from the Dark Temple let out a roar, his eyes flickered with murderous intent, which made him completely insane. Such thoughts boiled over, completely making him decisive and angry. In this battle of gods, from the beginning to the present, the Dark Camp has an absolute advantage, even before directly attacking the Holy City of Light. It only takes one last shudder to break into the Holy City of Light and destroy the Temple of the Alliance of Light. But at this time, such an accident occurred. What a blow to morale! Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 1704. Is it really necessary to give the Temple of the Alliance of Light a last chance to breathe? The expression on the face of the Along Saint in the Dark Temple changed for a while, and he appeared to be extremely irritable. Now at this time, I can't stand any toss and accidents. Block the news that the branch of the Demon Heart City Temple has been destroyed. Gather the elite and quickly take down the Holy City of Light. Absolutely, must not be delayed until the opening of the ruins of the gods. Every battle of the gods ends in haste. This time, we will knock down the Temple of the Alliance of Light. The Along Saint of the Dark Temple screamed, his eyes flickering, and the killing intent in his eyes was completely concentrated, and then he became even crazier. Bright Holy City, above the city tower. Why did the army of the Dark Temple suddenly die down? It's not in their nature. So what happened? Above the city tower, Saint Zuj of the Temple of the Alliance of Light frowned involuntarily, looking a little dazed. In this battle of gods, the sage Zuj Dun is the commander-in-chief, and the sage Dongguo is the deputy commander. The two of them control the overall situation. Naturally, it is also the most authoritative existence on the battlefield. Sage Dongguo, do you have any news from your side? Saint Zuch frowned silently, then looked at Saint Dongguo beside him. I don't know either. But at this time, we can't take it lightly. Maybe this is the Dark Temple's plan to delay the attack. That Along Sage has always been very treacherous. Saint Dongguo of the Temple of Light Alliance shook his head silently, then sighed softly. The overall situation is becoming more and more treacherous. Report, report. The Devil Heart City branch of the Dark Temple was completely destroyed. All the statues of the Dark Gods in the branch were shattered, a deputy second-rank acting cardinal of the Dark Temple was killed. In the crowd, a messenger came rushing over suddenly, and then said excitedly, the words were full of excitement. The branch of the Dark Temple was destroyed. How can this be? Who did it? Could it be the Light Knight Legion? Commander Zuchen's eyes lit up, and then he shouted excitedly, while talking, his eyes gradually became sharper. If the branch hall of the Dark Temple was destroyed, it would be understandable why the Dark Temple army suddenly died down. But at the same time, there is another problem. That is, who is behind the scenes? Who put an end to this? Make such a great contribution? To be able to possess this ability, in the eyes of Zuchdun, the saint of the Temple of the Alliance of Light, only the Knights of Light can do this. No. Not them. The order given to them by the Pope is to attack the main hall of the Dark Temple. But until now, there are still no results. Deputy Commander Dong Qiushuo frowned, then shook his head decisively. Perhaps it was because there were no results in the main hall of the Dark Temple, so I chose to destroy the branch of the Dark Temple in Demon Heart City. Actually, this makes sense. The Saint Zuchdun narrowed his eyes and made a guess. He, Sage Zuch, you must have thought too much. There are several branch halls around the main hall of the Dark Temple, why not destroy the nearby branch halls, and run to destroy the branch halls of the Dark Temple far away in Demon Heart City? It doesn't make sense. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1705. Dongguo Saint of the Temple of the Alliance of Light shook his head, always feeling that this way of thinking is biased, and there is a big gap. Snort. Sage Dongguo, what does this mean? Could it be that you feel that the Bright Knights Legion can accomplish nothing? I ordered them to go to the Broken Soul Demon Realm to attack. Saint Dongguo is categorically denying my strategy. Sage Zuch from the Temple of the Alliance of Light snorted coldly, appearing quite dissatisfied. He felt that Dong Qiushuo was just trying to lose face to him. Who doesn't know that he is in control of the entire Bright Knight Legion on weekdays? Once the Bright Knights Legion has made a battle, he can also benefit from it. But Dong Qiushuo has been repelling it all the time, and from a certain angle, it seems a bit weird. Dong Qiushuo, the saint of the Temple of the Light Alliance, frowned. He didn't expect Zuchdun's reaction to be so big. Sage Zuch, of course I don't mean to deny you, but the situation is like this, it should be determined according to the specific form. The Light Knight Legion failed to attack the main hall of the Dark Temple before, and has chosen to evacuate back. There is no Demon Heart City on their marching route. Sage Zuch, I hope you can think it over for yourself. Dong Qiushuo snorted coldly, and seemed a little impolite at the moment. Everyone is human spirit, how could he not know the meaning of Zuch Sage's words? Isn't it just that he wants to take this credit for himself, and wants to subsidize the battle honor to the Bright Knights, so that he can be less blamed? It's just a little too shameless. For a little honor, do you really want to lose your face? My lords, the Light Knight Legion has rushed to the Holy City of Light. Wuzu, the head of the Light Knight Legion, asks for an audience. In the crowd, a messenger came galloping over again, and when he spoke, he seemed very dull. As soon as he said that, the expression on the face of the Saint Zuchdun in the Temple of the Alliance of Light seemed a little dark. Actually came back at this time. Now even if it is calculated according to time, it can basically be determined that the destruction of the Dark Temple branch of Demon Heart City has nothing to do with the Light Knights Legion. How many of them came back? Did the troops divide up halfway? Saint Zujdun narrowed his eyes secretly, then snorted coldly and said, he still seemed a little unwilling to admit it at this moment, it can only be said that vanity is at work. This subordinate doesn't know. The messenger blinked, feeling stunned. He is just a little messenger, how can he know such a profound topic? Waste. Call Wuzu in. Saint Zujdun gritted his teeth, and the gloomy expression on his face became more and more intense. Analyzing and considering from a comprehensive perspective, things have developed to this point, even if they have completely collapsed. The little calculations he had in his mind were gone. Greetings to the sage Zuj and the sage Dongguo. Wuzu, the head of the Bright Knights Legion, strode forward, and suddenly felt that something was wrong. The head of the Wuzu army has worked hard all the way. Dong Qiushuo nodded, and then said hello. Wuzu stood where he was and returned the gift, not daring to slack off in the slightest. The status of the Bright Knight Legion is the same as that of the other 4 Golden Legions. Although the number of people is only 1% of the other 4 Golden Legions, their combat effectiveness is even higher than that of the other 4 Golden Legions. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1706. In the Temple of the Alliance of Light, there are not many existences at the level of the leader of the Wuzu army. In terms of status, he is only second to the saint of the first rank. When you came back, you passed through the Demon Heart City of the Broken Soul Demon Realm. Furthermore, you led the elite of the Light Knight Legion to destroy the defenders of the Demon Heart City in the Broken Soul Demon Realm, and destroyed the branch of the Dark Temple there, and killed a deputy second-rank acting cardinal of the branch, the Dark God Envoy. Am I right? You should understand what I said. What is it? Some things don't need humility. The plan to sneak attack on the main hall of the Dark Temple failed. You should have received the harshest punishment, but you destroyed a branch of the Dark Temple at the moment of desperation, which is considered an outstanding battle. Zujdun, the saint of the Temple of the Alliance of Light, strode forward, then stared at Wuzu eagerly and said, his tone became more and more solemn. It's not a question, it's affirmation. Wuzu, the head of the Bright Knight Legion, was stunned for a moment, and then became even more surprised and confused. This matter has nothing to do with him from the beginning to the end. What could it have to do with it? Even now, it was the first time he had heard that the branch of the Dark Temple in Demon Heart City had been destroyed. Wuzu subconsciously wanted to refute, but when he saw the Zuj sage staring at him with a hideous face, as if he would kill him if he chose to deny it. Wuzu, the head of the Bright Knights Legion, seemed a bit tangled. Think clearly, let's talk. Not in a hurry. Saint Zuj sneered, and the smiles on his face piled up more and more, but it was a sneer from every angle, it was a sneer that threatened from the heart. Wuzu, the head of the Bright Knights Corps, gradually panicked. In the temple, if he offends Saint Zuj, what will he do in the future? What's more, Saint Zuj is still the commander-in-chief of this battle of gods. If it falls into his hands, I don't know what kind of punishment he will suffer. As it is now, it's fine. Sage Zuj, it's too late. Dong Qiushuo, the saint of the Light Alliance Temple, curled his lips, completely speechless at the moment. This is all nonsense. Can I have some face? Judging by Wuzu's reaction, he knew that he didn't know about it at all, that is to say, the destruction of the branch of the Dark Temple in Demon Heart City had nothing to do with him and his Light Knight Legion. Do you have to pull it together now? Mystery. Or fake it? The key is to do this. Is it really interesting? Don't you feel a little self-defeating? Faced with Dongwo Saint's warning, Zuch Saint didn't take it seriously. His power lies here, he feels that he has the capital to say this and do this. Wouldn't it be a pity not to claim the great credit? Commander of the Wuzu army, why are you silent? What? Zhan Sun is in front of you, so excited. I have always admired such outstanding generals, but I don't mind those generals who don't have an inch of merit, and I will kill them on the spot. Saint Zuch smiled indifferently, and urged again. The meaning of threat is getting deeper and deeper. From this point of view, this matter is basically fixed. Wuzu, head of the Bright Knight Legion, closed his eyes slightly. Although he felt very ashamed, what could he do if Zuch Dun threatened him in front? Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1707. Zu, Master Zuch Sage, it is indeed, it is exactly as you said. I have indeed been to Demon Heart City. Wuzu, the head of the Bright Knight Legion, almost lowered his head to his chest, and his complexion became hot. I don't know when he started to become so shameless. I am too tired to live. Good. Good, very good. Commander of the Wuzu army, you are worthy of being one of the most valiant and combative regiment commanders in the Temple of the Alliance of Light. Although your plan to sneak attack on the main hall of the Dark Temple failed, it's good to be able to stop the loss in time. Good. Very good. The destruction of a branch of the Dark Temple can be regarded as a great blow to the Dark Temple. In addition, if you return in time, you can also help guard the Holy City of Light. This battle, our camp alone will win. Zuch Dun, the saint of the Temple of the Light Alliance, looked overjoyed, and then began to shout excitedly, his complexion becoming more and more rosy. The Legion of the Bright Knights is the legion he is in charge of. Now that the Legion of the Bright Knights has established a military honor, his contribution as a saint cannot be denied. Dongwo Saint on the side was completely dumbfounded. What kind of ghosts and monsters are these? Can I have some more face? Are you really putting gold on your face? What the hell are you? Do you really have no points in your heart? Has being shameless become an honor? Can you still count like this? Sao operation, wave after wave? Saint Dongwo's complexion turned green and then pale, and he looked particularly upset. Just as he was about to stand up and say something, Nan Gonglei, the red-clothed archbishop of the Temple of the Light Alliance, stepped forward and silently held him back. Lord Saint, this is the end of the matter, it's useless to say more. He's still in command after all. Nangonglei sighed silently, feeling a little sad for no reason. The president of the Temple of the Alliance of Light has become like this. Can you still count on how bright those people below are? Bright, was a joke from start to finish. Report, report, report to the two saints. Outside the holy city, another soldier came over. Looking at the flag, it seems to be the 308th Bronze Legion of the Azure Dragon Legion. The messenger rushed over again to report. Blue Dragon Legion 308 Bronze Legion? Why does it sound familiar? Saint Dongwo frowned, and the curious expression on his face became more and more. Lord Saint, that is the Bronze Legion where Fang Fan acted as the Archbishop's bronze supervisor. At that time, you personally appointed. Nangonglei took a deep breath, and couldn't help showing a look of excitement on his face, and then quickly whispered in Dongwo Saint's ear. Originally thought that there was a mess outside, and Fang Fan's life and death were uncertain, but I didn't expect to come back now. Fang Fan, is that God believer? I remembered. He seems to have led the legion under his command to defeat a full-stacked Bronze Legion of the Dark Camp, beheading its legion commander and supervisor. Good. Good. The Holy City of Light was besieged this time, and the 200 million elites of the Suzaku Legion and the White Tiger Legion were all defeated and returned. I didn't expect that this Bronze Legion would dare to counterattack and come back. Remarkably brave. This is the rising star of my Light Alliance temple. Hero man. A true warrior is one who wins military exploits on the battlefield. Only a cowardly villain would play those tricks. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 1708. Saint Dongguo snorted coldly, and while speaking, the sense of disdain in his words became more and more intense. As soon as these words came out, Saint Zuj and the head of the Wuzu army on the side each turned their faces. Saint Zuj naturally knew the dissatisfaction in Saint Dongguo's heart, and even used this incident to criticize Sang Huai. As for Wuzu, the head of the Bright Knights Legion, that would be a complete shame. Even though he returned home after being defeated in the main hall of the Dark Temple, he was actually praised all the time, and even shamelessly snatched a non-existent military achievement. Although it was said to be coerced, the sense of shame still seemed so strong. Go out and meet our warriors return. Saint Dongguo waved his hand, and then strode out. Ascending to stand in the void, one can clearly see armies like long dragons fighting desperately, gradually tearing open a passage, and then filing in. Although there are many elites in the Temple of Darkness and their combat power is not bad, it is more or less stretched to surround the entire Holy City of Light. They can always find some weak points and sprint back. Coupled with the military assistance on the walls of the Holy City of Brightness, there was not much danger in going back and forth at will. Little friend Fang Fan. After Fang Fan rushed in, Nangong Lei, the red-clothed Archbishop of the Temple of the Alliance of Light, rushed over impatiently, with a more or less excited expression on his face. He always felt that Fang Fan would become the pillar of the Temple of the Alliance of Light. As long as he is given time to develop and grow, given time, such a scene will definitely be shown in front of people. Thinking of this, the excitement on the face of Nangong Lei, the red-clothed Archbishop of the Temple of the Alliance of Light, could no longer be contained. Seeing Nangong Lei coming to greet him, Fang Fan also smiled and threw the head of a soldier from the dark camp in his hand into the sea of people, and then rushed over directly. Lord Nangong, please stay safe. Just when Fang Fan was about to chat about the household chores, his complexion suddenly changed, and he saw two old men in pale gold robes approaching. One of them, he knew, was the Dongguo saint of the temple he had seen in the peak of the priesthood. There is another one who stands with him and wears similar robes. Could it be that he is also a saint? Master Dongguo Saint. Fang Fan saluted according to the established etiquette. That is Master Zuch Sage. The general in black armor is the head of the Wuzu army of the Bright Knights. Nangong Lei moved closer to Fang Fan's ear, and immediately reminded him. Master Zuch Sage. The head of the Wuzu army. Fang Fan bowed to each other. This is normal anyway. Ah, very good. We all saw your battle just now. You have played the prestige of my Temple of the Light Alliance. By the way, I remember you were stationed on Xingyu Island. Why did you come back with the Legion? And, don't you have too many warships and warships? Saint Dongguo raised his head and took a look, then took a breath and said. He glanced over and saw almost 30 small flying battleships in the Holy Realm. As for the large flying warships in the quasi-Holy Realm, there are even more. At a glance, there are probably hundreds of them. Generally speaking, a Bronze Legion only has 11 small flying warships in the Holy Realm and 100 large flying warships in the quasi-sacred realm. And these in front of them are enough to equip 3 Bronze Legion. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 1709. Report to Master Dongguo Saint, these are the trophies we seized from the Dark Camp army. Before I got information that the Dark Temple Legion of Demon Heart City wanted to come to help the Holy City of Light. The subordinates were worried about the safety of the Holy City and the Temple, so they chose to intercept them halfway. At the same time, in order to severely attack the Dark Camp, I led the army under my command to directly destroy the branch of the Dark Temple in Demon Heart City. I killed the deputy second-rank acting Cardinal Dark God Envoy who was in charge. This is the heart of the temple in the branch of the Dark Temple in Demon Heart City, and this is the corpse of the acting Cardinal Dark Envoy. Besides, there are also the banners of the Black Temple subchapel, broken sculptures. Fang Fan took all the key evidence out of the storage ring with a single brain, and all he wanted was to come back and accumulate full battle merits, and then quickly upgrade a wave, to have the clergy level of the 4th rank Archbishop earlier, so that he can complete latent is the primary stage task. Did you just say, Demon Heart City? Did you destroy the branch of the Demon Heart City Temple? Saint Dongguo's eyes lit up, and the excitement on his face was beyond words. At the same time, a pair of eyes glared angrily at Saint Zuch and the head of the Wuzu army. Zuch Dun, the saint of the Temple of the Light Alliance, darkened silently. Don't take too long to slap your face. This side has just shamelessly taken up a wave of military merit, and here is the real master here? He just made an official announcement, isn't this a direct slap in the face? What a jerk! What a jerk! Zuch Dun gritted his teeth, his eyeballs were about to pop out. As for Wuzu, the head of the Bright Night Legion, he sighed subconsciously, and the sense of shame on his face became more and more intense. What I did just now, I clearly remembered it in my heart. The fame of the first life is ruined. Cough. Sage Dongguo, don't be in such a hurry. I roughly figured out the specific situation just now, but the head of the Wuzu army led the Light Knights to the Magic Heart City to destroy the branch of the Dark Temple. At this time, the Fang Fan inspector brought the 308th Bronze Legion of the Azure Dragon army over there. Yes, I did some help. Afterwards, the head of the Wuzu army took the Light Knights back quickly because he considered the comfort of the Holy City and the Temple, and left the Fang Fan inspector to clean the battlefield. This is in line with the order in which they arrived at the Holy City of Light one after the other. Fang Fan supervisor, you have done a good job. You may not have seen me before, and now I am the Commander-in-Chief of God War. An ambitious talent like you, with a little training, will definitely be able to reach the sky and have a bright future. Stay in the temple from now on, and I can arrange for you to join the Legion of Light Knights and give full play to your talents. Zuch Dun, the saint of the Temple of the Light Alliance, couldn't help showing some awkward smiles on his face as he spoke. Fang Fan really didn't understand at first, when did he become a helper? When he was in Demon Heart City, he didn't see half of the so-called allies. Bullshit, should there be a limit? It wasn't until after a wave of careful consideration that Fang Fan gradually realized, isn't this effing military merit of wanting to occupy labor and capital? Labor and capital worked so hard to destroy a branch of the Dark Temple, and killed a deputy second-rank acting Cardinal Dark Angel. After your lips trembled, did you become a soy saucer? Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1710. I don't understand what Sage Zuch means. I can't understand a word of what the Sage Zuch said. Demon Heart City was captured by me. There were no reinforcements at that time. I also destroyed the branch of the Dark Temple in Demon Heart City. As for the others, I don't know anything about it. Fang Fan snorted coldly, his eyes flickering brightly, what should be said has been said in place. The face of Zuch Dun, the saint of the Temple of the Alliance of Light, suddenly turned cold. After talking to this point, some things are clearly displayed. Fang Fan never thought of cooperating with him. In other words, he rejected his invitation, and even slapped him in the face openly. Inspector Fang Fan, you'd better think about it clearly. Could it be that there are some deviations in your memory? Regret now, it's still too late. But if the best time is missed, this matter will not be so easy to handle. As such done, the saint of the Temple of the Light Alliance said, the sound of cold humming was endless. This is already the most direct coercion. In other words, if Fang Fan does not choose to cooperate, he will completely offend the holy Zuj of the temple. Fang Fan's supervisor, if you have anything to say, you can say it. Right and wrong, there is always a conclusion. You can't say that what is black can also be said to be white. This is the holy city of light. Everything should shine under the light. Dong Qiushuo, the saint of the Temple of the Light Alliance, walked directly in front of Fang Fan, and then said with a firm face, obviously, he had assumed the responsibility of Fang Fan's backer. For Fang Fan, it is meaningless and worthless to say 1,000 words and 10,000, he only cares about vested interests. This Zuj Dun wanted to share his military exploits, deprive him of them, and promised to let him join the Bright Knight Legion and give him a bright future. It seems that these are very tempting, but Fang Fan doesn't like joining the World Trade Knights Corps at all. He needs to accumulate enough battle honors, and then he will be promoted to be the Archbishop of the 4th rank earlier, and complete the initial task of latent. Besides, do you have to endure to the end after being robbed of military merits for no reason? What's the point? Master Dongguo Saint, I can be sure that the branch of the Dark Temple in Demon Heart City was indeed destroyed by me alone, leading the elite and the 308th Bronze Legion of the Azure Dragon Legion. I have never seen the so-called reinforcements and friendly troops. This is the heart of the temple in the branch of the Dark Temple in Demon Heart City, and this is the corpse of the Deputy 2nd Rank Acting Cardinal of the Dark Temple. These are the flags of the 2 Bronze Legions of the Dark Temple. Fang Fan indifferently presented a series of evidence, don't even try to steal his credit. Zuj Dun, the saint of the Temple of the Light Alliance, turned blue and white. This is already a very direct slap in the face. The speed and range of face slapping are extremely large. He, the saint, pulled down his old face himself. Didn't expect this to be the result. Snort. Some things cannot be decided by your family's words. Commander of the Wuzhu army, tell me. This saint has always believed in you. As long as you are willing to tell the truth, I will definitely seek justice for you. In addition to the powerful Light Knight Legion, can a bronze-level legion of the Azure Dragon Legion destroy the heavily guarded Dark Temple branch? Anyway, this saint is skeptical.